say, like, the main functions are the same. You can send an email on the web, you can send an email on your app. It's just like the experience can differ versus whether you're on the app, on an Android phone, on an Apple phone, if you're using a Windows computer or a Mac computer, or whether you're using the web browser. So it's really the experience will change, but the main functions will be there. Why you would do one versus the other, it depends what device you have and flexibility and what your preferences are. Like some people have the Outlook phone on their app because on their phone because their phone is more likely with them than their desktop computer is. So accessibility. And when it comes to using the desktop version or the web version, like there may be certain features that you use a lot in your work that may make you lean one way or another. For example, the desktop version of Outlook on a Windows computer allows you to schedule send emails. The version on the web does not allow you to schedule emails. If you're someone who really wants to schedule emails, then by default, you might be drawn towards using the desktop version because it has these additional features that you really want to use.
I think when it updated, there was one point when it was updating and it would stop letting me access it through the computer app. And so it kept taking, I had to do the web browser version, and it does look different. Like I was looking at those videos and my Outlook on my computer is different looking than that.
And that's another thing that'll throw you for a loop. There are different versions of Outlook, as if that's not enough. There's like version 10 and version 13. And then it's really the experience of how things are presented will look different. But the main core functions are there. It's just a matter of where is it located if I need to do X, Y, Z. But you can still do the main functions, and then you'll find that you prefer one experience over the other, and that's what you continue to use. One is not necessarily wrong or right, just because I have too many things on my phone and on my computer. If I can avoid downloading another app, I will. But that's not always the case. Any initial questions people may have, either from the pre-work, from experience, before I share my screen? Okay. And so a lot of the people here have already used Outlook, so it's mostly just walking through maybe some of the things you've never clicked on. You may have wondered, but like, I don't have time to dig into what this means, or just sharing additional tips and tricks and best practices that might be helpful. Going to share my screen, and I'm sorry my internet sucks today. So it might take some time to load some things up. And another thing, Victoria, that will help you know you're on the web browser. Like for me to have come here, if I'm not using my bookmark, like I had to go to Google or Firefox or Safari to get here. That's how I know it's the internet version of Outlook, because I had to log into the internet to go here versus just using a desktop that's already downloaded on my computer.
Okay.
Yep. One of the helpful things, and everyone is different, so I just want you to know these things exist and you use them if you feel like it helps you. So you can create folders in your Outlook email. Why would you want to create a folder in the first place? Well, to help you categorize the different emails that you are getting. So we all get morning missives from Deborah Jacobs, and sometimes those morning missives will have like contests and deadlines. Trying to search for that morning missive like a week ago can be a pain. One thing you can do is create a folder where, as Deborah sends her morning missives, which she sent one right here, I can just drag and drop that email into my morning missives folder. Now I have it for easy access. So now if I want to find a morning missive that Jacob sent on Monday morning, I can just go to my morning missive folder and it'll be there, instead of me trying to search through 300 emails that I've gotten within the past 3 days. And you can do that for anything. Like, I'm not necessarily that much of a folder person, but you can do it by initiative. You can do like, we get a lot of newsletters. If you want to create a folder by newsletters, because sometimes we don't always get to read the newsletters as they come in. So you can kind of create this little repository where you put the newsletters in, and then when you have time, you check out your newsletter folder to see what you've missed. I already have one with newsletters. It exists here. Newsletters, tech excellence, emails that you get from me, you really get to create whatever folders you want to create to help get yourself organized, because it's not always efficient to search through your inbox of like 500 plus emails to find that one morning missive or that one newsletter. And so to create that folder, I just right click where it said inbox and it's like create a new subfolder. And then I clicked on it. And then if I decide I don't actually need a morning missive, I just right click it and then I delete it. Or maybe I want to rename it because it's not just morning missives. Maybe I want to do morning missives and newsletters. You can. When it comes to deleting stuff, either out of your subfolders or out of your inbox, you can just right click and you can empty out everything in the folder. That's a little bit scary because you probably want to look through the emails that you're deleting instead of just deleting them all. But you can delete everything just by right clicking an empty folder. An empty folder is the same as empty it out all out into the trash. You can also do something called RSS subscriptions. It's basically like, and on the web version, I don't know why they have it on the web version if it doesn't work. I don't know. I'm not on my Windows computers to see if it'll allow me to do it. But basically with RSS subscriptions, you can like subscribe to newsletters, websites so that you can get constant updates about when they have new blogs, new videos, new content. And instead of the email being sent into your inbox, the subscription, if it's a new blog post, a new content, it'll appear here in this box. Typically, you should be able to right click it and then it'll be like, what's the URL of what you want to subscribe to? But on the web version, it does not work. So this is what I was talking about, Victoria. If you're someone who really likes subscribing to magazines and newsletters and stuff, and this is a feature that you really want, then that might be a reason why you use the desktop version instead of the web version, because it does not allow you to do that on the, at least on the web version that I have on my Mac. I've learned that a lot of TPFers are into color coding. You can do categories in your emails. So if I right click this email and I go to categorize, I just created these as a sample, but you can color code your different emails and name them. For example, I can have all the morning missives appear as yellow. I can have all the newsletters appear as green. If that helps you get organized, then you do it. How do you go about doing that? Like the Tech Excellence newsletter just came out. If I want to color code it, I'll right click, categorize, and then I had to rename this, but I'll just select Tech Excellence. And now whenever I get a new email from this Tech Excellence newsletter, it's always going to appear as red. If you find that helpful, then you do it. If not, then you don't have to. And another way to access those categories is up here. So like I said, there's always more than one way to do something. I'm really into right-clicking the access features, but you can actually come here to categories. You can create new ones. You can change the colors. If you go to manage, then you can change the different colors that appear. Why would you want to do this? Once again, just to get organized. Some people like knowing, like seeing the yellow and knowing that it's already has to do with a morning missive, or like seeing the red and know that it has to do with tech excellence. It's just a way of getting organized if that works for you. It doesn't work for everyone, and that's okay. With these three little dots, know that you can mark an email as unread if you need to. I tend to use this feature because if Victoria sends me an email and there's something I need to do, if I leave it marked as read, I will forget to do it. So marking it, reading it, so I have an idea of what Victoria wants me to do, and marking it back as unread lets me know that there's something here that's unaddressed. technically, Outlook already has like a feature to help you do that. I just never used it until I learned, oh, that's what that thing is there for. Outlook has something called the flag feature where you
Mm.
can flag an email and then you'll get a notification that, hey, you haven't responded to Victoria's email. And I was like, oh, that's what the flag is for. I don't know. Something about it made it seem like emergency, so I stayed away from it. But like Stacey sent me the DA4A metrics, and if there was something for me to do here, I would just click on this little flag symbol, and then it's going to send me a it's going to send me a reminder, or it's a way to remember that, hey, there's still something here that you need to address. So Sandra, I see you nodding your head. Have you used the flag feature before?
Yeah, I use it because it highlights the thing and it stands out to me like Sandra, take care of it, and then it'll remind me to follow up. So I use it for sure. Except when
Interesting.
you have too many that are flagged.
Then it beats the whole purpose of it being flagged. I get that. And you can see what Sandra is talking about the color. Like I flag some stuff for demonstration purposes, and you can see how they're in the yellow highlight. But if I had flagged all these emails, then they all would be in yellow, and that would help me see which one has the level of importance that I needed to have. Any questions people may have so far? Yes, Victoria.
Um, when you color code to organize a category, do you have to do that every time the email comes in? Like you send me something and I go, oh, that's tech excellence. And I indicate it as that, or how would my emails know that it's coming in and it's tech excellence? So which
I have not used it enough to know that question. I feel like for something for the newsletters, it's a little bit easier because it's coming from the same email, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So for like the newsletter, yeah. Have you used it before,
I
Lindsay?
have. I was gonna say you do have to go in. You don't have to recreate the category every time, but anytime an email comes in that you want to flag that color, you have to click it.
Okay, so it comes in, I see it, and then I've already established a color and a name. And Lindsay or Kiara, there's no point in doing a little red flag and a color category, or is there?
I mean, sometimes I do both. So because I work on a couple different initiatives, I'll make something purple if it's for SCGLR. I make it green if it's for the Gap. And then I flag it if I need to follow up and respond to someone.
So
So it's
you
all,
use them totally different. A flag is more urgent, don't forget, and the other ones are what the category of your work is.
that's that's how it works in my head.
Thank you.
I love that they are real life examples of this. This is wonderful because I'm not really a color coding person, so I love that we have these experiences. Thank you, Lindsay. So categories a lot of times, Victoria, is for content. Flagging is for follow up.
Got
If
it.
that helps.
Yep.
Yeah. If that helps. So everyone is different. I'm not saying you have to use these features. I'm curious, do you ever use categories, Stacy, or flags or anything like that?
I don't know, I don't, and I probably should because I don't delete emails ever. So I'm sitting here as soon as you said the morning missives, because like when I make the letters that go with the checks, I do have to like search back through 1,000 emails to be like, now what was that contest about? Whatever. So I do need to start doing all of this. But yeah, I don't do categories. I do categories on the calendar part of Outlook, but not on the email.
Interesting. And
May
Victoria,
I?
there really is no right or wrong way to use these things. It's just knowing that they are available and using them in any way that helps support you in the work that you're doing.
May I just ask a question to see if you'll address it in this session or elsewhere? The TPF email that I work with, maybe others do as well, it's a Gmail account. And is it available to use Outlook with the Gmail account? Because this Outlook organization is preferred by me in my organizational skills, or is that not available to do?
I can, and we can say after for me to show you this. I know what like Eileen does. Eileen has a way where she makes her Gmail account appear in her Outlook.
Okay,
So that whenever she needs, so she just comes to her Outlook account because she uses Outlook for work. So
Okay.
she'll be able to go into her Outlook for work, but also have somewhere where there's like a tab for her TPF account. So she only has like one-stop shop to access her different email platforms.
okay, because I do that with my LLC business. I have a Gmail account and I use Outlook in that, and I love it because I'm very familiar with it. I struggle and stumble a lot with the Google, and I guess I don't know what it's exactly called, but the Google email. What's the name?
Gmail?
Yeah, just the Google email look. It's quite different than this. And I see you use this, and I'm just wondering if that's available for the consultants that have a tpf@gmail.com.
I use both because I had a TPF Gmail.
Okay.
I use
Yeah, I
both,
use
but no,
both
I
too.
can. Yeah, I use both. So I can make a note of that. If I don't know how to do it, then I'll have to be like, Eileen, how do you do it? Because I know Eileen is someone who she prefers
Thank,
Outlook as well. She said Gmail is kind of confusing, so she set up that process to make her work more efficient.
thank you.
Can I just say something? I was playing around with because of Victoria's question regarding is there an easy way to like flag or to do a category? And I found
Mhm.
a way that you can create what's called quick steps. So like I went into my Outlook and there's manage quick steps, which I think on what you're seeing, maybe it's where the three dots are next to the categories. I'm not sure. Is there a manage quick steps or quick steps? I can't tell from here.
No,
But
there's no.
well, maybe it's somewhere because like you said, they're
Mhm.
supposed to be similar, right? But oh, maybe under
Yep.
settings. But anyway, I figured out that I could set it up where automatically all I have to do is for me, I chose this one, Control Shift 5, and it immediately categorizes it or immediately. So I don't have to go into categories, choose the red. It's just an easy way to filter in a way your emails.
Hmm.
I learned something new just by listening to you,
This is why we
process it.
This is why we have group classes. Something similar to that, not necessarily fully there, kind of similar. This is kind of like advanced. These are like, I don't know. This is something like a Stacey Gattikin would do if she felt like it would be helpful for her. Where you can do something where you setting these things up can be time consuming, but once you set it up and if it works correctly, the idea is that it will make your life easier. You can do something where you create rules where instead of you manually putting stuff into folders, you can tell Outlook whenever I get an email from Lindsay that mentions the Gap, I want it to go into my Gap folder. Whenever I get an email from Deborah that has the word morning missive or whatever, I want it to go into my morning missive folder. Whenever, or this is Stacey Gattigan, whenever I get an email that has the word checks or honorariums or whatever, I want you to go into this folder. Why would you want to create that streamlined process to kind of keep your inbox organized? Whereas emails are coming in, they're already being categorized into my Patriot Plaza folder, into my Gap folder, into my Morning Missive folder, into my newsletter folder. And then instead of just having your inbox be a library of emails of everything and everything, I would just check my different folders to see what's new. Not saying you have to do it. Once again, just wanting people to know what these different words mean.
Do you do that, Kiera? Do you have rules?
I just kind of learned that was a thing.
Okay.
So no, I have not done that because my only concern, once again, I'm telling you these features exist. I'm not saying they're perfect because my only downside with doing the rule, like let's say a morning missive does come in and it goes to my morning missive folder. Like, how do I know there's something new? Unless like the number changes. Like now instead of one email, now, like I'm supposed to remember that it's different, and now I have 2 or 3 or 4. Like if I got like a little notification, oh, okay. So that's my only hesitancy with using the rule. Like, how are you reminding me I got a new email? Any other questions people may have? Archive. So know that a lot of times Outlook, I think by default, this feature might be open, but might be automatic. By default, Outlook puts all your old emails. I don't know when, if it's like a certain amount of time, it'll move it into your archives, which you can also access here. So you can manually archive an email by just selecting it and then clicking archive. But I think the default option is Outlook automatically moves things to your archive for you. I don't know if it's after a certain amount of time, if you don't click on it after a certain amount of time, but it does have that feature. And you can mark things as junk if you're getting like spam emails and whatnot. If you don't prefer the drag and drop method, like dragging stuff into your folders, you can go to move to, and then you can like move it into your different folders using this move to section too. When it comes to composing a new email, I think a lot of this is really basic. Just want to emphasize some things. Hyperlinks are important. To do a hyperlink here, type your word, double click on it, and this chain link is how you do hyperlink. And I can make this a little bit bigger because I see people are squinting. There's no need to squint. So right here, whenever you see this symbol, that is always going to be hyperlink.
Does that
Which
work the
is,
same way as on the Google?
yep.
Do you go first to your document or your attachment, or you start, is it opposite and you start here?
So if you're doing a hyperlink, it has to live somewhere on the web. So attachments are going to be, I'm attaching something from my computer
Okay,
to the email.
okay,
Hyperlinks, I'm linking something from the World Wide Web
okay.
into my email.
So something
So,
off of, in the homework, I would go to the Patterson Foundation
yep,
Fueling Dynamic Fundraising, that's on the web.
yep.
Copy that address and it becomes a hyperlink.
Copy that link, and then you have to type in like your phrase. Like what phrase do you want to put the link in? So in this case, it'd be like FDF.
Uh-huh,
And then I'd select the word, and then
uh-huh,
I'd attach the hyperlink to there.
okay,
It's not really the FDF website, but and then there you go.
okay.
And then if you make a mistake, right next to the hyperlink is this little hyperlink with an X to remove it.
Where was that?
Right next to it, right
Oh,
here.
oh,
It's like the
oh,
hyperlink symbol with the X.
okay, thanks.
No, not a problem. Something, and then this symbol, so chain link is hyperlink. This paperclip is attach.
Okay.
So once you click on attach, it'll show you documents that you have on your computer.
So
Something
in the homework
Mhm.
piece, when you're asking for a photograph, you actually have to copy the photograph and save it on your desk, on your computer in order to do an attachment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yep. Whenever you want to do an attachment, it has to live on your computer. How you get it there is up to you. You can download it from the internet, download, or in the FDF case, you can just go to a newsletter or go to the page and save a picture. Well, let me show what I mean by that, because maybe not everyone has done that before. I'm just gonna use DA4A as an example. If I wanted to save one of these images on my computer, I'm just gonna right click and then save image as.
okay.
And now I'm not gonna rename it, but you should. And now I just saved that to my computer, and I could attach it now in an email.
Thank you.
Yep, you are welcome. I'm gonna extend this a little bit. CC, carbon copy. If you CC someone in an email, you're just making them aware. Like if I send this email to Lindsay, I CC Sandra, I'm just making Sandra aware that I've sent this email to Lindsay. Versus if I BCC, Stacy Gadican, when Lindsay gets this email, she will be able to see that Sandra is on this email thread, but she will not be able to see that Stacy also got this email. Why in the world would you want to add like a secret person to the email chain? Well, in the case for like the Patriot Plaza 10th anniversary, Stacey Gatkin was so kind to send like a whole bunch of emails to elected officials. It was like maybe over 100 people. Having Stacey send like 100 emails individually would be a pain. So what we did was we put Deborah Jacobs in the 2 line, and then in the BCC line, we put like 20 or 30 elected officials at a time. So when they get the email, they see that they're getting an email from Deborah Jacobs, but they are not aware that there are 20 other people also receiving that same email. Yes, Lindsay.
Is there a way when you're doing that to change, like maybe it says like, hi, Lindsay, but you want it to change to say, hi, Stacy to the next person with still blind copying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh, Stacey, you got an answer, please?
Sorry.
I don't think so. Like when I do that, I just have a generic greeting. So like, hello, everyone, or hello, whatever. But to me, the best thing about BCC is so then people don't have other people's email addresses that might not necessarily want them, but it also prevents people from replying to all. Like even the people who somehow just they reply to all always, like, because I don't think they realize it. But that way they can't reply to all. They'll only be able to reply to the person who sent it. Even if you blind copied 50 people, only the sender, and if there's anyone in the CC column, they'll also get it. But you're preventing, because there's nothing more.
So Stacy, you're saying that the blind copy individuals on a reply all are not replied to?
Right. So if Kiera sent this to Deborah and then blind copied all of us on here, we would only be able to reply to Deborah because we wouldn't be able to see each other on there. I would only see that it was from Kiera or whoever sent it. So even if everyone's on there, I can hit reply all, but it'll only go to the person in the sender or CC, but none of the BCC people, which is nice because one time I had someone, it was like a business that had sent something out not blind copied, and like somebody was replying like, no thank you, but like 100 people got that, and now I have so and so's email address that I don't even want in my computer. But yeah, so it's really nice. So like for example, like when we have fellows leave and I send out the invitation to people, come by for the reception at TPF, I usually send it to myself and then blind copy whoever I'm sending it to. So then even if they accidentally or on purpose reply to all, I'll be the only one who gets a response. Because I think some people, it's a total accident. They don't see the difference between reply and reply to all. They're not intending for everyone to get it. That's all they know how to do.
So can I ask a question of the group, Kiera and Stacy and others, but so do you use that feature instead of undisclosed recipients? Or a distribution list?
I always blind copy if I'm emailing a big group that I don't want others to see like responses to.
So blind copy, not undisclosed recipient or distribution list.
Well, and I can take like from Outlook, I can use a distribution list and I just put them in the blind copy part.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, the blind copy is important, especially like initially. Well, I don't want other people, not just to respond to the whole group, but I don't want them to have everybody's email. If I am sending out an email to several Gap clients, but it's a generic one, I don't want them to have each other's email address. So blind copy protects the identity of those individuals as well.
And Sandra, do you send that to yourself like what Stacy does?
I put myself as the 2 person.
The 2.
Yes.
Oh, that's so interesting. I've never done it that way. I actually do it the flip way. I blind copy myself to have a record of, and I hang that in my inbox so that I remember to wait for a reply or something like that. But I love this approach. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. And I just sent a sample email to, well, when you get it from me, Victoria, all you'll see is my email address, but I actually BCC'd everyone here on that email. So you can kind of see what it looks like on the receiving end.
Most of the emails you probably get are with lots of people BCC, and it just looks like it's just going to you.
Yeah, that's true. Is that what Deborah does for her morning missives? Stacy, do you know? Or is she using distribution list? I don't even know how you do that, actually.
Well, let me look because there was, I think she goes through, she might do it blind copy, but I think she
Okay.
goes in and puts people's names in individually because for whatever reason, there were a handful of people that when she would use the distribution list, they wouldn't get it. And people would email her and be like, are you okay? I haven't gotten the morning message or whatever. And so she would be like, somebody else come look at this distribution list. They're on there. Like Wendy Katz was one of the people that periodically she would, and it wasn't every time, but she would sometimes not get it. And it would be like, but I, would put eyes on the distribution list and it was there. So now she, I think, goes through and how
Wow.
she remembers all of us, I don't.
That's dedication.
Yeah. I don't know how she keeps all the stuff in her brain. All the other stuff would fall out of my brain.
Can I just say something else about Victoria, your question? When you blind copy someone, like what I like to, and if I put myself in the two, it allows me to still see all the people I blind copied. Now, nobody else can see it, but because I'm the one that initiated, so then I can copy and paste all of the people and not have to retype everyone's email if I need to send another group one blind copied again. Does that make sense?
It does. So I'm just wondering, like, when's the purpose of that? So Kiara started this instruction piece on this section where CC people, you can see it, everybody knows you're on it, and it's obviously not to them, other than here, we want you to know it's there. Because if you wanted to send it to somebody, you're expecting them to capture the information and possibly reply to you. So if I were to get, I've never noticed it, to be honest with you. If I saw, I know Deborah's sending it out or Kiara's sending it out. I'm not thinking about the blind copy. I understand that. And I've never seen a distribution list, in a pocket like that or undisclosed recipients, because that's another way to do it. But it's a curiosity to me, like, when is the best time to use that? If you're just disseminating information like the morning missives or come to a party or, when's the best time to use that? Like,
Well,
how
if
do
you're
you, how
if
do
you're
you use
sending,
it?
oh, sorry.
No, how do you use it, for instance, that whole blind copy thing?
Personally, I use it all the time unless we're trying to collaborate on something and everybody needs to see responses. Just because what Stacy was saying, like the reply all, because if anybody puts like reply all, even just a thanks for the heads up, everybody's then getting that email.
Okay.
So I honestly probably use blind copy more than anything.
So Kiara, we should have probably instituted that during the 10th anniversary team when we were doing all those emails. So that we didn't receive back, got it from like 11 different people.
So you can do, I think another best practice is just like to like pay attention. So by default, reply all, and when we go to the settings, I will show you how to turn that off. By default, when you're responding to an email, reply all is the first thing you see. If you click on this arrow, you can just click reply. So I think the best practice is really, instead of hitting reply all, just click on reply. So if only Stacy needs to know my response, just reply to Stacy Gattikin that yes, I will be there, or no, I will not be there. BCC a lot of times is when you don't want people, and people can use it in different ways, but essentially it's really when you don't want the other people to know that there are other people on this email, or I don't want you to see their email address. Like if the fellows, okay, if Alexa is being launched, Stacy Gattikin is inviting Roxy, the CEO of the Community Foundation of Sarasota, Roxy probably doesn't want everyone in the TPF world to know her personal address.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, Stacy will BCC her and the email address with everyone else so that everyone else does not have her email address and is not spamming her to provide grants to XYZ things.
And just for clarity, reply all will not go to the BBC. Only to the people that are into 2 and the CC. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's great.
And I'm so bad at reply to all because so Deborah does not like reply to all. So that, so, and so I am so bad about it. Victoria, for example, a lot of times Linda Gould, when she sends me stuff, I don't even necessarily even look if people are CC'd. So I don't reply to all. And so sometimes I'm like, oh, I should have, so I try to be more conscious of that because sometimes it's like, they didn't ask me anything, but they would also benefit in knowing my answer to this, so sometimes I forget. And Linda's very kind. She'll remind me. She's like, I've copied Victoria because we're both doing this. I'm like, oh, yes. So now I try to pay more attention because there's a few people that do it. Most people don't. And I think, with your 10th anniversary group, like if I'm working with a team of TPFers or it's a handful of people, I don't think it's that big of a deal because they all already know each other's email addresses and everything. So that's not, so the privacy issue thing. And sometimes it's good for me to be like, oh, who got that information? And then I can look and see who all the people were on that email. I also don't need to send this to Sandra because she was on that email that somebody sent. So I won't necessarily reply to all, but I'll know Lindsay, Victoria, and Sandra all got that. So I don't need to send them separate emails. So when you're working with a team, I think it's okay especially if it's a smaller team. But if it's a big group and especially if it's people who don't all know each other, I would definitely BCC because especially when your email address is literally your name, it's, it's not rocket science to figure out, oh, that's Stacey Gattikin's email address. But, if it was like S1749 Saturn, they wouldn't know that that's me, but, still.
Interesting. What an enlightening conversation on the world of PCC. And if by any chance, sometimes on the desktop version, this the BCC will be hidden and you have to go into your settings to enable it. Like on the web browser, it's hidden, but I can just click on BCC here and it'll appear. Versus on the desktop version, I actually have to go into my settings to be like, I actually want to see it to be able to use it when I want to use it. Only because we are something that's also different about, I'm going to attach a picture here. I'm just going to attach this picture. So when you're adding pictures to an email, you can either have it appear as an attachment or you can actually embed it into the email itself, where as soon as the person opens the email, they'll see the picture itself instead of having to download it or to preview it. Yes, awesome, it worked. So once the picture is done uploading, if I click this, I'll probably just say hello. If I click this little arrow, it asks me if I want to move the image to the message body. And it's my internet sucks. But there you go. And if it's too large, once I click on it, I can make it smaller. Or either Outlook really doesn't give you that much option. Either small or it's huge.
Was it a right click or a left? How did you change that? A right click?
Left. I left clicked. Yep, I clicked on left click. And then I had this option to make it small to remove it. So instead of the person clicking on the attachment, I can just click on it and, oh, look, it's there. And so that's when we were inviting the elected officials to the Patriot Plaza 10th anniversary. We had the invite appear like this. Because the more steps someone has to take, the more likely they are not to do it. So instead of having the elected official get the email, click on the attachment, have the attachment load. There's so many opportunities for them to not even look at the invite. So we just put the invite directly in the email itself. So it's the first thing you open once you open the email.
So it could be an image or it could even be a PDF or something, right?
No, it has to be an image.
It has to be an image, like a JPEG or something.
Yes, and Stacy will tell you how to bypass that.
But so because I sent the ones to elected officials, I had to take the PDF and I converted it to an image. Because if you have Adobe like Acrobat Pro DC or whatever it is, you can do that and save it as an image. But when Kira and I were trying to do this, we discovered I couldn't put the image in the body of the email from the desktop application. I had to sign into the web version to do it. So Kira taught us already.
Oh.
But the drawback that we also discovered was then in an image, links are not clickable. So we had to put just after the image, we put in another sentence with the clickable link for RSVP. So people could either use the QR code in the image or they had to click on the hyperlink. But you can save a PDF as an image and then treat it like a picture. Basically.
Oh, save the PDF as an image and treat it like a picture. Got it. Got it.
And another thing, this will only work on the web browser. You can't embed an image into the Outlook desktop. Once again, just one of the nuances of the different. So you can you can always send an email regardless of what version you're using, but these extra features that make your life easier are not always available in the different formats. This little
Can I just say, I was able to, you mean, wait, did I understand it correctly? You can't put an image on the desktop version?
or at least I should say, like when I'm at the TPF computer, it does not allow me to embed an image into an email. I can attach it, but I cannot embed it.
Oh, I was able to do it, but it says to move it to the body, and that what I couldn't do is I couldn't figure out how to minimize except to like highlight it and then move the little circles, whatever it is, the peripheral of it. And then I could minimize it that way. But I was able to put a photo into the body on my desktop version just now.
So let me reword that. Depending on the desktop version you have and the computer that you're on will dictate whether you are able to. So if you can't do it, most likely it's not that you're doing something wrong. It's most likely that the device or the version of the app you're using is not allowing you to do it.
Right.
Yep. This little chime thing, doorbell, I don't know what to call it. I call it a chime, will give you notifications. A lot of times when I have events coming, that's when I'll have something here. Settings, this little setting gear, this is how you can easily do your automatic replies. So if you're going to be away, it automatically saves it from when you last did it. But once you select automatic replies, you turn it on, and then you just select when it starts, when it ends, and what your email is going to be. And that's very helpful. So if we know you're on vacation, like I know Victoria is going to be going to Canada. If I know she's in Canada celebrating and having time with her family, I'm going to hopefully not spam her with emails during that time.
They're little love notes I get from you, Kiara.
When I go to my settings, I'm not going to talk about all of them, but there are some that are actually very helpful. Undo send. I don't know if people know this, but you can undo your emails. By default, you have up to 5 seconds. You can change it. If you would like to have like a 30-second window to decide whether you want to undo your email or not, you can do that. I will say that I did have it at 30 seconds before, but it's a really long 30 seconds. And if you close, well, I think I'll have to like demonstrate what I mean by this about what it looks like if I want to undo send. Because I'm just going to do the Sandra test. Here, this is my little time bar. Like this is my 5 seconds. If it was 30 seconds, it would take even longer. And if I exit out of the Outlook application before like the time is up and the email actually sends, that email will not send.
Where are you showing us? Where are you looking?
Did you click on your settings?
No, I know that, but how, like, are you talking about it's just hanging in your outbox? Is that what you mean?
So when I go to send this email to Sandra,
Yep,
my settings, I have like a 5-second window
yep.
to undo my email from when I hit send. So I'm going to click send.
Mhm.
Sorry, Sandra. This is my 5-second window. I have until that time is up to decide whether I want to cancel sending the email.
Well, how do you go and stop the email from, how do you unsend it?
You, when I click on send, I just cancel send. And now it's stopped. Now it's not going to be sent. So like you'll have a little bubble here, Victoria, that will give you the option cancel send. And it's not like you have 1 or 2 days to decide whether it's gonna send or not. Like you have up to a 30-second period to click that cancel button. And if you don't hit that cancel button, then that email is going through. So undo send, when you go to your settings, it's here. For me, by default, well, I don't know by default if it's turned on for people, but if you do not have the ability to do undo send, then go to settings, under mail, go to undo send, and then turn it on. And the next important one is reply setting. So by default, reply all is always turned on. If you find that it sometimes gets you into trouble, then maybe just make reply your default and think twice about whether you really need to reply all or not. This is also under layout. This is also how you can do your email signature. Well, this is also one of the ways of how you can do your email signature. You just customize it to whatever. So when Stacy sends you the message, you just delete this. Like this is going to change after Saturday. So once she sends you the content, I just delete this and I copy and paste the new one and then I save and I'm ready to go. If I'm not mistaken, no, you can't do it from here. But yeah. And Stacey also does a good job. Stacey Sternberg also does a good job of sending videos, walkthroughs, tutorials, if you ever forget how to do that. Those are really the main things when it comes to the settings. Undo send, reply settings, and also you can request. So the same thing with text message. I don't know if Android has this, Stacey, but I know on iPhone you can get a notification when your message is read. There's like the same feature for email as well, where you can request a read receipt, or you can also provide one to people to let them know that you read their email. I don't know if I want people knowing that I read their email because sometimes it might take me a while to respond. But this is where you can do that if you so choose. Any questions so far? Something I do want to show people. There's more than one ways to send Zoom invites. I think I have heard you say something like this, Stacy, that I think this will be helpful for you when it comes to sending out Zoom invites. So once you do all this wonderful information for the Zoom meeting, right here where it says Outlook Calendar, Stacy, you can download the ICS package. And then this is kind of a little bit of calendar, a little bit. When you go to your calendar, do upload from file, find the ICS package where it's downloaded on your computer. And once you save it, the Zoom invite will automatically appear. Like all the information is there for. Like you don't have to manually do anything or copy and paste everything. Now all you need to do is invite people and you're good to go. This was not a direct attack, but I wanted to streamline that process for you.
This is why I take these classes, because I get things done. I know I do them the hard way, the long way. So I will have to try that next time. And then teach my husband when he can do it too.
I think that'll be helpful. So not saying it's not wrong at all if you just copy this information and you paste it into your calendar. That's not a problem. But just know if I click on the Outlook calendar little package, like Zoom will create the package for me and then I just have to upload or like mail that package to Outlook, and then the invite will automatically appear for me, and all I have to do is start inviting people. So just another way of doing things, not saying you have to do it, but just another way. And then only because this is fun, your emails don't always have to be boring. I don't know. I'm gonna put school GIFs, hopefully. Okay. So GIFs are like moving images. You can actually include GIFs into your email. So it's like a moving image. I don't never remember what it stands for. But you can actually include GIFs in your email. Why would you want to? I don't know. It depends on the nature of your email. Maybe you're trying to be cute or funny. I don't know. But if you attach a GIF, it's gonna not move the way you want it to. Like you're not gonna get that little movement. But if you move it to the body, then now it's like a moving image. That's how you get a GIF to work. And if you're saying something, Victoria, you're on mute.
So where did you find that? I missed where you found that.
Oh, I just looked it up on the internet.
Okay, so that's a hyperlink then.
No, I did not do an hyperlink. So I found this image. I found this GIF. I saved it to my computer.
Oh, okay, okay,
Save image as.
okay.
And then I attached it to the email and then moved it to the body so that it could be a moving image. Because the GIF is a moving image rather than like a PNG or a JPEG, which is stagnant.
Okay.
And that little box just popped up to move to the body, like when you pasted it in.
Yep, exactly. And I have no idea where it's at now, but I'll do it again. Once I go to attach this image, like just right now, if I just open it right now, yeah, but we want to remove that extra step. As Victoria said to me one time, we want to show kindness to people and not make them work extra hard. So I just click on this little arrow, move it to the body, and now it's like this moving little cute GIF that people see.
Does it remain as an attachment up on top?
No. Once I move, you can only have one or the other. Either it's an attachment or it's embedded into the message. If you want it to appear twice, then I have to upload the document twice. So this was like another upload that I did. So now the person can choose. You can see it in the email, or you can also see it in this. Any other questions people may have? Just looking at my notes. And also, this is just kind of like a quick tip. I use this a lot for Gmail. I'm not really subscribed to a lot of stuff on my TPF email, but if you type in unsubscribe into the search box, which another thing, if you're searching for an email, technically you could just type, I don't know if people have had better luck than I have using the Outlook search thing, but that thing drives me crazy. I can never find what I'm looking for using the search bar. But theoretically, if you're looking for an email, you can just type it in and it should appear. For me, it doesn't really work that well. But when it does come to unsubscribe, if you want to see all the things you're subscribed to and easily start unsubscribing, you can, this works a little bit better on Gmail, but you can just type in unsubscribe and then it'll just show you a list of the things you are subscribed to so you can easily start unsubscribing. This is not a Gmail class, but I also simulate it on Gmail because I think it works a little bit better so you can see what it is I'm trying to explain, not so eloquently. So when I type unsubscribe on Gmail, these are all the things I'm unsubscribed to so that I can unsubscribe, which you can do now via this little button. But I digress. If you're subscribed to a lot of things on your Outlook email, this is how you would do it. Does anyone have any additional questions for me?
Yeah, I just go back to follow up with you, Kiara. I sure would like to figure out if it's possible to have my TPF Gmail,
Yep.
not in Google Workspace, but in working out of Outlook. It would be such a blessing.
Yep. Nope. That I'm gonna connect Eileen. I'm gonna start an email thread. I'm gonna CC Eileen, and then she will. I don't know. She may be able to explain it in a way better than me just looking up Outlook. How do you do it? But because I know she does it. If there's anyone else who would be interested in just knowing what, not that you have to do it. If you're just interested in knowing what the steps are, I can send that email to you as well. I can work on that.
Thank you.
Any other questions people may have?
The only other question I wondered is if the users here of Outlook from experience, if you had to pick, would you pick the web browser or the desktop version for Outlook and ease or features that you find are better, or can you use both and access it? I'm kind of a little confused on that.
I think you can use both. If I'm, I I honestly use the app on my phone probably more so for Outlook. And then if my second option would be the web browser, just because it's just what I'm used to. But I don't think for me it matters.
I was just testing it. I don't remember right now. I don't have my password to remember, but I think they do look different. So what my recommendation would be is check out both and see which one you're most comfortable with, because they do differ. And so one might have a feature that you find easier to use and to access different little bits and pieces from it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I would second that. I use both, but I definitely use the web browser more just because the desktop is so different. And it's like, I feel like it slows me down because I'm trying to relearn it. And yeah, I have more troubles with the desktop version, but that's just me. The web browser is my preference, but I do agree with Sandra. Definitely try them. Like maybe spend one day using the desktop, one day with the browser, and then you'll definitely notice you gravitate towards one more than the other, even if it's like a 2% difference. You would definitely find which one you prefer. And so for the homework assignment, you're not doing anything new. You're really just sending an email to me, but we're making sure that we practice some of the things we talked about today. So we're doing hyperlinks, we're attaching images, and really everything that you need is going to be on the FDF webpage. So the pictures that you need, you can find them on the FDF newsletter, on the pictures on the home image. And if you have questions, then I'm more than happy to answer them.